Welcome friends! Today we are going to make an Italian meringue, one of the three classic meringues that you should know how to make. Italian meringue, French meringue, and Swiss meringue. There is a fourth meringue. It is called a vegan meringue. It's made with aquafaba, and I have tried very hard to love it, and I can't get it to work the way it's supposed to, nor can I take the flavor. To me, it always just tastes like beans, chickpeas, whatever. So I'm going to stick to the three. And today we're going to make Italian. And so into this pot, I have put sugar, water, and a little corn syrup. And I'm going to bring this up to a boil and get that to about 240 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, I'm not a terribly huge fan of corn syrup. I certainly don't like the idea of high fructose corn syrup being hidden in foods, all kinds of foods. But I use it in the kitchen because it's an invert sugar that will keep the sugar in here from crystallizing, which is always everyone's fear. And they tell you to get a pastry brush and wipe it around the outside with a little bit of water and not to stir it, only to swirl it, because ice crystals can form. But the invert sugar from the corn syrup will keep that from happening. So I can stir this the whole way through and no worry about it burning. So I'm going to wait for this to get up to temperature before we move on to the next step. The sugar syrup is bubbling away nicely, so we move over to the stand mixer and put in egg whites and a little bit of cream of tartar. Cream of tartar creates a chemical reaction which helps the egg whites get more loft, more volume. So we put that in right at the very beginning. And we just start this off. You don't want to whip it too quickly at the beginning, sort of a medium whip. Once the eggs have a little bit of froth, you put in the vanilla and just keep whipping. So we're looking for 240 degrees Fahrenheit, and we've reached that. Be careful with sugar syrup. It's incredibly hot and it's sticky, and if you spill it on yourself, there's no end to the amount of pain you're going to have. So the egg whites are at a nice soft peak stage. You don't want to over whip them before you start adding the sugar syrup. And now you just drizzle the sugar syrup into the side. And you can at this point bump up the speed. That's it, Italian meringue. Sounds fancy, tastes fancy. You get to use it in all kinds of fancy ways, but it is really an incredibly simple thing to make. It's a couple of simple rules to follow, but for the most part, this stuff is great. Look at that. Beautiful, glossy. It's going to hold its loft. Now, I can just eat this straight out of the bowl. I'm going to use this in a no-churn ice cream recipe. So come on back and watch how I put this into an ice cream to make the easiest, most flavorful, beautiful no-churn ice cream you've ever had. Thanks for stopping by. See you again soon.